Good morning. My name is Carolyn Johnson-Gutter, and I'm sharing the post of Worship Associate today. Each week, we acknowledge that our fellowship sits on the unceded territory of the Awaswas Amamutsun tribal bands. So, what more might we do with this knowledge? Joy Harjo, the first Native American Poet Laureate of the United States, from 2019 to 2022, offers some ideas in her writing that is titled Conflict Resolution for Holy Beings. Norman Patrick Brown, Diné poet and speaker, said, "I am the holy being of my mother's prayer and my father's song." Here are the conflict resolution ground rules. 1, recognize whose lands these are on which we stand. 2, ask the deer, the turtle, and the crane. 3, make sure the spirits of these lands are respected and treated with goodwill. 4, the land is a being who remembers everything. 5, you will have to answer to your children and their children and theirs. 6, by listening, we will understand who we are in this holy realm of words. And 7, you must speak in the language of justice.
The theme of compassion has been this month, and it was also the theme for our small group ministries throughout the county. And one of the questions spoke to me in our group, and the question that spoke to me was, what if your busy and important life is the true enemy of your compassion? And this came out from me. Silence. I cannot tolerate it much. Why? Is it fear that I'm not doing enough to make positive change in the world? Or do I believe keeping busy is compassion? Or is it the way I am staying compassionate to myself by not wallowing in my sorrow over my helplessness in this world of uneven opportunity and uneven suffering? The Great Peace March for Global Nuclear Disarmament 1986 gave me the opportunity to stay busy and feel that I had a purpose. At first, I believed walking with hundreds of people for a nuclear-free future was me acting out of my compassion for humanity. And with a collective effort, making something happen, making history instead of just reading about it. What I learned was more subtle and perhaps more vulnerable, and certainly simpler than I had imagined. We, the group of us marching, or I, were not going to bring an end to nuclear weapons by marching 3,000 plus miles over 8.5 months, but rather, we were going to learn how to share a community with many viewpoints, to learn to trust one another when some of us were cross-dressing anarchists, and some were elder academics, and some were wild children, and some were psychedelic using and sexually obsessed freedom lovers, and some middle-of-the-road suburbanites, and some conservative-minded folks who also believed that we needed to save the world from our children and for our children's children. Ultimately, what we had in common is that we were all dreamers. So what I learned those 40 years ago, I am still learning, namely, to open up and share with my fellow humans my and our collective fears, sadness, and joy. Be it the genocide in Gaza, the colonization that is the cause and continuing reality of class inequality, the self-righteousness of drivers including myself, on the highway, the belief that cats are better than dogs, the political right versus the political left. The compassion I crave is a desire to join with others to share in universal laws of nature, universal laws of love, universal laws of justice, to heal ourselves, to care for our children, to care for this planet, and ultimately to make a concerted effort to discover how to heal one another. Thank you.
Good morning. I feel so honored to be here. So honored. Thank you to Bob for inviting me. My name's Elaine Jackson. I'm just kind of overwhelmed. I've been a student of Tibetan Buddhism for nearly half a century. I was inspired by Lama Thupten Yeshe's warm-hearted compassion and love. This is like the sun shining on all of us, this unimpeded, unobstructed, loving compassion. So, what is compassion and why should we cultivate it? What does it truly mean? Why does it matter? And how can nurturing it transform not only our personal lives, but also our workplaces, schools, and communities? Compassion is more than just a feeling of sympathy for someone's pain. It's the conscious desire to alleviate that suffering. It's an active response that involves empathy, kindness, and a willingness to help. Compassion can be as simple as listening without judgment, offering a comforting word, or just being patient in a difficult situation. Research in psychology and neuroscience has shown that compassion is beneficial not only for those who receive it, but also for those who give it. Acts of compassion release feel-good hormones, which reduce stress and foster a sense of connectedness. Regularly practicing compassion can improve our mental health, boost our immune system, and even lengthen our lifespan. So says neuroscience. So imagine a workplace where colleagues genuinely care about each other's well-being. Productivity increases, conflicts decrease, and morale improves. In schools, compassionate teachers build trust and resilience. They create safe environments for students to learn and grow. And in families, compassion allows members to support one another through challenges. Cultivating compassion on a larger scale can address social problems like loneliness, injustice, inequality. When communities prioritize compassion, they become inclusive and responsive to needs of their members. Compassion fuels volunteerism, philanthropy, and social movements that strive for a better world. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. Despite its benefits, practicing compassion isn't always easy, is it? Stress, fear, prejudice can all hinder our ability to empathize with others. Sometimes we're also focused on our own struggles that we forget to look outwards. Recognizing these barriers, just recognizing them, is the first step to overcoming them. So how do we cultivate compassion? Well, we begin by practicing mindfulness, being present of our own emotions, so we can better understand others. To challenge our judgments, make a conscious effort to set aside our biases and see people as fellow human beings. Engage in small acts. Compassion doesn't require grand gestures. Smile, listen, or help someone in need. Expand your circle. Reach out to those who are different from you. Learn about their experiences and struggles. How often we pass by homeless individuals, perhaps making an offering, but do we pause to say, hello, how you doing? One of the biggest challenges I was told by one homeless man, that it's not being seen. Not being seen. To be willing to look and to pause. So we can model compassion to lead by example in the workplace, in the community, and to inspire others through your actions. Many, many, many years ago, nearly 50, I asked my teacher if it would be appropriate to start a Buddhist Sunday school and teach what I knew as a baby Buddhist of the path to enlightenment. And he said to me, not necessary. You inspire and teach through your actions. Teach through your actions. Because compassion is contagious. When we act with compassion, we inspire others to do the same. Our small acts ripple, leading larger waves of kindness, understanding, and cooperation. And to pay attention with our small acts of kindness, which we aren't even intending to be an act of kindness, but to pay attention, for instance, when you hold the door open. You see someone coming some distance away, and you wait, and you hold the door open for them. And they're kind of surprised that you waited so long, and the look on their face of gratitude, to take that in, take in the good, and hold that, because then it gives us courage to do it again, to find these small acts of kindness. With compassion as a guiding principle in our lives, we can create more connected, peaceful, and a thriving world. So we can contemplate what small acts of kindness and visualize their beneficial effect. It's a good practice first thing in the morning. Some small act of kindness I might do today. I remember a prayer that Thich Nhat Hanh used to say upon rising. He said, I wake up in the morning and smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment and to look upon all beings with love. When we start our day in that way, grumpy gets out of the way, So I'm going to end with this, what was it? A Motivation for Life, written by a very close friend of mine, who said, imagine a world filled with joy, where we rise from bed excited to explore the day. Nature's beauty surrounds us, and everyone we meet inspires us with their generosity and love, their compassion. Let our goal be to live in such a world, and where we don't find it, to help create it. So I thank you very much for your kind attention. And I think a little dedication prayer was passed out to take all of this positive energy, which I find completely amazing. I can feel the energy, the loving kindness and compassion that's just filling the space. It's very, very beautiful. This is a prayer that was created by an ancient Tibetan Buddhist master, Shantideva, who wrote the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And if the musicians hear the tune and join in, we're going to sing it. They don't have a clue. As Bob said, this is a 24-hour fly by the seat of your pants. Okay? May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, find an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merit. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, there too may I remain to dispel the misery of the world. Thank you.